Alright, hey everybody, Sean here, and today I am doing kind of a special project. It's something that I had been thinking about for the last couple of weeks, and the question that I wanted to talk about on this video is, what does it mean to be a man? So I thought about this question and I knew that I wanted to do a video, and I thought I want to ask that question to friends of mine. So I originally thought I want to ask a bunch of guys I know, and then I thought, you know what? I want to ask guys and gals and see what their responses are to this question of what does it mean to be a man. So some of you may be wondering, why do I care? Why do I have this question that I want answered? So for me, being a trans man, I typically have to come out to people a lot more than someone who is gay or straight or bi, because it's my identity. It's not my sexual orientation, it's part of who I am. And when I come out to people, I get one or two reactions. Typically people are supportive or they're not. And it's those people who have said to me, well, you'll never really be a man. So first of all, that doesn't feel good when somebody tells you that. You know, who are you to tell me what I am? But it got my brain and my wheels turning, and I thought this would be interesting to talk to some people that I know and see what they have to say. So that is exactly what I did. I talked to a couple gals, a couple of guys, and let's take a look at what they had to say about what it means to be a man.
For me, being a man means I don't have to follow any social norms. Guys can show up wearing whatever they want, with their hair looking any way they want, and they're not diminished in their opinion. I can walk into a room and give my opinion, and everyone gives me some credit for it, and then looks at me like, "Oh, he must know what he was talking about," which most of the time, is not all that true. I like being a guy because, or man in our world, because the freedom of it. Like I said, there's no restrictions. Nobody's judging me on my appearance. Typically, they're giving me the benefit of the doubt. It's I get a lot of passes. I get a lot of get out of jail free cards running around because boys will be boys, and that's just what guys do. And so a lot of times I can just act like a jerk, and people will forgive me because that's what boys do, or that's how guys are, and I take full advantage of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Not fair, but I'm enjoying it. So that's,
Gotcha.
Those are some of the things that I like, and then the camaraderie among men. I have male and female friends, but being a man in a group seems less dramatic than a group of females. I'll go months or years without seeing some of my guy friends, and when we do meet up again, it's just right back to, how's it going? What's going on? That kind of stuff. And there's no, oh, you didn't call me for the last 2 years, or you're, those kinds of things. So I like the social relationships between men, and the privilege of being a man in our society.
I think it can mean a lot of things. I think that unfortunately we live in a culture that tries to put things on a binary and force people into gender roles, and that doesn't really allow people to discover what it means to be a man for themselves, which I think is really important.
Yep.
I also think that being a man means coming into spaces in your full identity, and that as a society we need to shift and allow that. For example, I have a friend who has a young boy, and he really wants to be a teacher or a nurse, and his friends make fun of him for that. And I think that he shouldn't have to face that. And I think about kind of our culture's idea of masculinity and all of the different things that we're bombarded with. You have to be strong and tattooed and angry and powerful. And I don't really know a lot of men who look or act like that. And the men in my life that I love are kind and compassionate and loving and caring. And I am married to a man who is sensitive and warm, and will probably cry when our dog dies. And that needs to be accepted and allowed.
like, what do I look for in a man? And the thing I was like imagining was like my partner's like even. So I think of like all men as like even, like they're just like steady eddies. So he's like a boat on the lake and on the ocean, and I'm like a fish, like jumping. When I'm like up, he like gets me level. When I'm like down, he like brings me up. So like evenness, not like emotional swings or anything like that. And then like, I don't know.
This is hard.
Like, I don't know, it would be helpful if he could like build like a birdhouse.
Yeah, so men can build birdhouses?
Family thing. Like, where would all the birdhouses come from? I don't know how to build a birdhouse.
There's Google for that.
Yeah.
Women can build birdhouses too.
I can't do the hammer thing.
All right. So that's what it means to be a man.
Yeah, and he's got to know how to like fix my toilet.
Yep. That's great.
I think this is a tough question, but also very important. As a trans man, I think that to be a man is to constantly challenge traditional notions and conceptions of what society might think a man is. I remember when I first came out, my family was asking me, you know, does this mean you're going to start liking sports? And I think
Right.
my mom was saying stuff like, you know, I'm worried that I'm going to lose my, you know, sweet, loving, cuddly child. And I just think it's really important to understand that, you know, being a man and living my life as an out trans man doesn't make me a different person. I'm still Charlie. I'm still the same person that I've been my whole life. I'm just living in a body and in a presentation style that I feel more comfortable in.
For sure.
What does it mean to be a man?
Yeah.
Well, I am of the opinion that gender is fluid, like the Kinsey scale of sexuality. That I don't know what, like, if there's an example of a real man. A lot of examples that have been held out into the public as socially acceptable macho men have turned out to be gay, and people really freaked out about all of that. So I don't really know exactly what it means to be a man. I think that we're all male and female, and as I said, I think it's a continuum.
So I've been thinking a lot about Sean's question, what does it mean to be a man? And I can't say I know. I have been passing socially, for probably about a year now. I'm a little over a year and a half on T, and it's definitely giving me a different perspective in the world. For example, I don't know what it was, 6 months ago maybe, there was a woman, she was working for the downtown clean and safe team, and she was sweeping up whatever garbage was outside my work or whatever it was, and I walked up and I said good morning, and you know, I was behind her and she was busy doing stuff, but she looked up and she looked at me and she walked away very quickly. And I'd never, I guess before my voice changes and whatever, you know, maybe I was safer then or something, but I'd never had a woman react to me in that way. And another example I'll use, I live downtown in Duluth, and at night when I'm walking, women will literally walk across the street from me. And it's, you know, being socialized female growing up, I was taught to be in a pack to be safe or use the buddy system or whatever. And so for me, I can't really answer what it means to be a man because I'm just still really trying to deal with the reality of how our society treats women and how I'm instantly, you know, part of the problem now when I was taught to, you know, like I said, be in a pack or whatever. So So basically, I'm going to end it with, what does it mean to be a person? And again, I'm going to rip off a quote from my partner, Hannah. And be safe, be kind, and have fun.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so to me, I think what it means to be a man is to understand that you get to walk around with a bunch of benefits that not everybody gets. And instead of like feeling ashamed or defensive about that, is to have conversations with other men and talk about what is healthy and really open up that dialogue to really discover that if you are a man, that means you get to decide what being a man is, no matter how that is different. And in my life, so I'm married to a man and I'm raising a little man, and they're very different, even though they're in the same house. So like my husband is a combat veteran, like a guy's guy, and my son is growing up in this environment with like a really strong mother, and my partner, he supports that. So when my son is playing dress up or just playing, he'll go up to his dad and say, "Dad, do I look beautiful?" And instead of my husband being like, "Boys aren't beautiful, you need to say handsome," he just says, "Yeah, son, you look beautiful."
I love that.
And there's nothing shameful that he feels about that he just kind of gets to figure out that he can be a beautiful boy, and that's okay.
I love that.
Just being a man is, doing what everybody else does. Making sure that you're helping out with others, making sure that you're treating others the way that you want to be treated, doing the same jobs as everybody else does, just doing your part to make the whole. So, I mean, I don't really see a power dynamic. I don't see a this or that when it comes to being a man. It's a man can cry, a man can laugh, a man can giggle, whatever he so chooses, or whatever anyone so chooses. It's being the same person regardless, and just treating others with respect. That's what really just being a man means to me.
Awesome.
So, if you made it this far, you've heard guys and girls tell you what they think it means to be a man, and turns out not a lot of people found this to be an easy question to answer. And why is that? So, when I was doing my own research, and I'm filming these people, and I'm hearing their answers, and I'm thinking, crap, I'm gonna have to come up with, like, my own answer for this video. Like, what does it mean to be a man? And I'm gonna go with what a lot of people said, is I don't know just one definition for what it means to be a man. And I think when I talk to people, that really solidified that idea in my mind, that there's not one way to be a guy. There just isn't. Another thing I was thinking was, what's the actual, dictionary definition of what it means to be a man? Or, if I ask Siri, what's she gonna tell me? Hey Siri, what does it mean to be a man?
Sorry for being obtuse.
Obtuse? Let's try that again. Siri, what does it mean to be a man?
You got me.
So Siri doesn't know? Does that mean Google and the World Wide Web doesn't have a good answer? Seems to fit with what I found doing this video. Which is, if you're a man, you're a person. You're a human being. You are cuddly and sweet and loving and affectionate, and you like to play and watch hockey and what else? Anything. The world is our oyster, right? So if I like cooking and I like hunting, I can still be a man and like both those things. If I want to go shopping, but I also like to go play sports, does that make me any less of a man because I like to shop? I don't think so. You also heard a lot about what it means to have male privilege. And that's a new concept for me because, as Jameson said and some other trans people shared, you know, we're kind of learning what that means to be a man after being socialized female, and it's really interesting to kind of figure out where we all fit in this world. And it's not with a binary black and white, blue and pink definition of what it means to be a man. So, if you're still watching, thank you. What do you think? That's what I'm curious. You know, I'd like to see your comments, your questions, what you think about this video and what people had to say. So yeah, share them with me down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I put out videos pretty regularly, and yeah, let's keep this conversation going, everybody.